Aha, and we're here. We are live. Hi, welcome to the weekend kickoff show. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, Patrick. We're back.
We're back. We're both pretty much healthy.
Yes, we are.
Almost.
Almost.
Well, you're healthy. You just sound
funny. Yeah, just
kind of puny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best.
Okay.
I'm trying my best.
Your energy looks good, though.
Thank you. So does yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what have you been up to this week since I've seen you last?
Oh, not a darn thing, really. I've
Really?
just been. No, I'm a terrible liar. Actually, I'm a very good liar. We've been up to the theater at the tent.
Aha.
Putting that thing together. We had our gala last Saturday night.
How did that go?
It was fantastic.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, it was a packed house. We raised money. We auctioned off a gift basket.
Wow.
Ended up going for $300.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was about $100 worth of alcohol in it, probably. But the point is, giving money, getting money.
Exactly.
Theaters need money. How about you? What's your week been up to?
Just mostly rehearsing.
Okay.
Trying to get the voice working again.
Yeah, it going.
That's been a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, and getting, up to speed since I have been kind of down and out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, it takes a while to do that.
But we're there.
We're there. Just a couple quick things to
Sure.
mention. First of all, we're brought to you by Big Daddy's.
Of course. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Home of boom, boom chicken, shrimp, and all kinds of delicious stuff.
And the margaritas.
Sí, sí. Yo quiero margarita.
Ah,
Sí.
sí.
Yeah, me gusta mucho. Yes, head on over to Big Daddy's, kids. And you know what? I believe it's next week.
Yes.
Christopher's American Bistro will be opening.
I am so looking forward to that.
I know. He's going to have some amazing steaks and, American type comfort food. He's got a meatloaf thing happening.
Really?
Yeah. I've got notes that Chris gave me to talk about, but they're on my phone, which is being used to transmit live on the Facebook there. So tried to remember most of it.
Okay.
So look forward to that. It's it's going to be right there on Restaurant Row.
I saw it the other day, as a matter of fact.
Right across from Donde Giselle.
Uh-huh.
Nobody knows where Giselle is, really.
And as you said, it was a white tablecloth service, but casual.
Yeah, I that's my feeling. It's white tablecloth is a restaurant term for
Right.
Upscale, pricey restaurants. But his is not going to be that pricey.
Okay.
So they might not even have white tablecloths. I don't know. But
Okay.
the feeling is it'll be a nice
So I don't have to
date
break
night.
out the white gloves or anything for this.
No, but it'd be great if you did. And just the other thing, Inclusion Bouquet Day. Chris is going to be on and talk about that some more.
Okay, great.
They're really busy placing special needs people, Down syndrome people, training them, getting them jobs, placing them, the ones that they can.
Right.
The others, they just give them better life skills. And that's a fabulous thing.
That is a fabulous thing.
And tonight at the tent is the premiere, well, not premiere, for us it is.
For us it is.
Of the fabulous play in Espanol, Divorciadas, Evangelica y Vegetariana. A divorcee, an evangelical, and a vegetarian.
Wow, that
Yeah.
sounds like a combination.
It is. It's a very funny show. Cesar Rios is the director, and Antonio Singh is producing. Gustav Ott wrote it.
Oh.
And I looked it up the other day. This play has been produced in just about every Spanish-speaking country in the world.
Wow.
It's a very popular show. And
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
yeah, I watched some of the rehearsal yesterday. It's actually very funny. Even if you don't speak a lot of Spanish, they pepper in some English words here and there. But you get the idea, One woman is like suicidal. One woman is got other problems, and they try to save each other. And it's a very funny.
Is the vegetarian suicidal?
I'm not sure which one is which at this point. I'll have to watch the show. At least 3 more times.
Yes, at least.
Yes, it plays tonight and tomorrow night. 5 o'clock is the curtain, and then there's a Sunday matinee
What time is the matinee?
at 2 o'clock.
Okay, great.
Okay. And yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, everybody. So come out and check it out.
Super.
Se habla español, sí.
See.
And we should talk to our fine guest that we have here today.
Who do we have today?
Well, everybody's favorite Dr. Shannon.
Hi, Dr. Shannon.
Hello,
Hi.
good afternoon, guys. How's everybody doing?
We're doing okay now.
Hanging in there.
I don't know. I'm hearing some raspy voices and hearing some coughing over there. I'm a little bit worried. I think I'll move over here to the
Yeah,
other side.
just keep your distance.
Yeah. We all have our masks.
Yes, we can put our masks on if you notice.
It's okay. I think just about 75% of the town has what is causing your congestion
So
and
what's
coughing.
going around?
Yeah, what is this?
If you listen to everything that's going around, you're just going to want to lock yourself in the house.
Oh, I wish.
We have flu virus going around, the
Ooh.
actual influenza, not just the common cold. We
Okay.
have the common cold going around. We have one of the many versions of COVID going around. I don't know which one, maybe many.
Uh-huh.
They're very popular.
Do you do you get a fever with all versions of COVID?
No, some people don't have fever with any of the versions of COVID.
Oh, wow,
I
okay.
know some people never even had any symptoms. They just tested positive.
Yeah, I
or
know
just
some people
had
like that.
Because they were
lots of
exposed.
sense of smell and tastes, or just congestion, or just diarrhea. Shouldn't talk about diarrhea at lunchtime.
Yeah, well, that's a great subject. So, that didn't happen to me. I got COVID last August.
Yeah.
And I got a fever of like 103. It was pretty
Wow.
high.
That's pretty high. Yeah.
My oxygen and pulse ox levels dropped.
Yeah.
My doctor said if it goes below 91, get yourself to an emergency room.
Right.
Luckily, it did not. But-
That's a plus.
It was one of the most unpleasant illnesses I've ever had.
It wipes you out.
It does.
Just like influenza. If you get the actual flu virus, I'm talking
Yeah.
the sore throat, the coughing, the sneezing, the diarrhea, the stomach issues,
Yeah.
the whole works. It'll knock you down for a couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, I haven't had the actual flu. It's been a few years.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
do get that shot whenever
Yeah.
they offer it. Sometimes you get lucky. They're out in front of the supermarket giving out all kinds of shots.
Right?
Yeah.
You just say, here's my arm.
I say, yeah, shoot me up.
It's been a good 10 years since I got actual influenza.
Yeah, yeah,
Knock on wood.
yeah.
I think I'm exposed to just about everything that goes around.
Of course
So, I'm hoping my immunity is up pretty high. But I
Yeah.
do get my flu shot every year. I do get my pneumococcal shots
Yeah.
when they're required.
I get that one. Yeah.
There is another virus that hit the news not too long ago, the RSV, the respiratory syncytial, I can't even say it. That's why we call it RSV.
Yes.
Which, they do give us vaccinations as children. I don't remember what year that came into effect, that they started giving the RSV shots.
Wow, I don't know if I've ever had one of
I
those.
don't remember
shots.
hearing about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they should be available now. I'm not sure whether Panama has included it into the adult vaccination schedule, but other countries have, especially the countries got hit really hard with the RSV virus. The U.S. did. I know some other countries did. We had it back here in June, July of this year. The cases spiked. I haven't heard so much about it recently, but I think what's going around right now is the influenza virus, and it's turning into pneumonias and putting elderly in the hospital. So,
Yeah, I got whatever it's going around. It turned into bronchitis instantly into my, and it laid me out for about 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
And I still, I'm feeling fine now,
Right.
but I notice my voice isn't quite there, and a lot of talking, like being on the radio or doing a play, makes me cough.
Yes, I've noticed
the
that.
cough
from both
seems
of
to be
us.
the most
Yeah.
permanent part of the illness. People just
lingers.
they cannot get away from that cough.
So I have a question about COVID.
Okay.
So recently on the news, I heard that there's a new vaccine coming out in the U.S.
Yeah.
Is that coming to Panama?
It's not even out in the U.S. that I know of yet.
I heard it was going to come out in the fall.
Okay, yeah. And it usually takes another couple months to get here.
Okay.
Okay.
So why is that one different? Do you know?
It's just more, it's kind of like the flu shot that has different, the ones that they think are going to appear during that flu season. It has a different, what do you call it?
Like a mutation.
Antibodies
or-
or-
Yeah, mutations or just types, like the subtypes of flu that they mix like 3 of them together in one shot to protect you from those particular 3 that they think might be the ones that are going to hit.
Okay.
That's kind of what they're doing with these newer COVID vaccines. It's more directed towards specific variations of the COVID virus.
Okay. So on the news, they were saying, in the U.S. news, they were saying you might want to hold off getting your booster until this new one comes up. Would you recommend the same thing here, or do you think we should, if we're due for our booster, should we just go get it?
Yeah, it's going to take, like a good couple months after it's released in the States to come here. So if you are more susceptible, if you have underlying conditions and that kind of thing, you can go ahead and get your booster.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'll probably go ahead and do that as soon as they offer it.
Yeah.
I mean, in my case, I have asthma. I've had it my whole life, and I know the pattern. You know what happens. I get a cold. It starts off up here, gets into my throat, a little scratchy.
Yep.
Day later, it's down here in the lungs, and I'm hawking up all kinds of unpleasant things that nobody wants to talk about or look at.
And stuff you lost in the past. There's that old sock you were looking for.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
All your underlying conditions are definitely something to look out for.
Yeah, and the original variations of COVID are going around, and the booster is going to offer you some type of protection, even if it's not against the specific one that might be going around the world at the moment, because they all have the original spike proteins as well as just a little bit of a tweak to them.
Okay.
So just the fact that you're keeping up your immunity against the original variations of the COVID virus is going to help a lot.
Okay. All right. But it's a good idea to get these new boosters, these new flu.
It is, especially if, like I said, you're susceptible or over a certain age. Have other underlying health conditions such as asthma, such as heart conditions, diabetes, high blood pressure.
Yeah.
If you're overweight or obese, you should definitely get the upcoming version of the COVID shot.
Do you know? You mentioned a moment ago. They do these flu shots based on the strain they think is going to be the most prevalent. Do you know how they come up with that guess or idea?
I'm guessing they don't just throw it into a bucket and pull
out a oh, it's swine flu this time. Okay.
I guess what they start doing is just looking for patterns in the previous years and then take it from that. Whatever was going around, the highest levels of whatever was going around the previous year, that's how they'll determine, which ones to put in the current year's shots.
Okay.
And actually, they start developing it well before the current year begins, the current flu season begins.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wish they'd come up with a shot for the common cold.
Yeah, really, huh?
Yeah, really.
That's just annoying,
It
you know?
is.
Which is another coronavirus, rhinovirus, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
They're all coronas. Some are
Yeah.
just more corona-y than others.
Yeah, and they
Corona.
don't taste as good as the one from Mexico though.
No, with a lime.
Yeah.
Boy, I could go for one of those right
Maybe
now.
that's what I need. Old lime in my
I'll
diet.
go, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they have that at Big Daddy's too.
Oh, they do, in fact, yes.
To go along with your boom boom chicken.
Wash that right down and then chase it with a margarita.
That's right.
Absolutely. A thing came up last week, and I just want to talk about it in kind of general terms, nothing specific. But a friend of a friend was working. He's a Panamanian individual and had an asthma attack. And I had posted a couple of weeks ago about getting a rescue inhaler, a Ventolin or albuterol, whatever. And I was amazed at how cheap it was.
Oh, cheap.
Yeah.
These are some very inexpensive medicines here, and you don't even have to have a prescription. You can just get it right over the counter. And this person did not have an inhaler, and so my friend got him one, or a couple maybe. And she said he kind of went through that inhaler like in a couple of weeks, very quickly. And I'm not a doctor, but I used to have a lab coat, so I
And you
said
slept at a Holiday Inn Express.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I based on my own experience, I said to her, what it sounds like is he hasn't gotten any kind of treatment, and this isn't under control.
Right.
You know, there are a variety of daily medications you can get a hold of,
Right.
and I gave her a couple examples of that. But it does. So she was going to look into it, right?
Right.
And I think she talked to you about it at one
Yeah,
point.
yeah, I did hear about it, and those patients that do suffer from respiratory illnesses, especially asthma or chronic bronchitis and things like that, do tend to require having a rescue inhaler on hand to help open up those air passages.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always recommended that the person that's suffering go see a doctor, not just self-medicate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because the illness can turn into an emergency really quickly.
Very fast, yeah.
And if somebody's using a rescue inhaler and they finish one within a couple weeks, that means that person is really not under control, as you said.
Yeah.
And that the underlying problem, whether it be infection, whether it be inflammation, or just badly controlled asthma, is not going to be cured by using a rescue inhaler.
No.
It's going to need those extra medications that you were talking about.
In fact, it's probably not good for you to use your rescue inhaler more than, a dozen, I don't know, 100
Yeah, a
times
dozen
a day.
is quite a few times.
Yeah.
Usually you don't want to use it more than, 4 times a day.
Right.
If you're increasing on your usage of a rescue inhaler, then you know that you've got a problem and you have to go see your doctor for some extra
Absolutely.
medications or what have you.
And that's definitely the first step. I
Yeah.
mean, if you have this issue,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I've not heard of this. Can people get asthma later in life?
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people can have it as children and then it recurs in later life.
Yeah, I had it very bad as a child, and the doctors kept saying, "Well, he'll probably grow out of it."
They
and
think once you hit puberty.
yeah,
And, some
I did
people do.
not,
Yeah.
but it's gotten much better as
Yeah.
I've gotten older. In fact, after moving here, I quit taking 2 medications that I was on.
Really?
The air is so much better,
Yeah.
And the stress is so much less.
Yes.
One of the things the doctor said to me is a big trigger is stress
Oh,
and
yeah.
emotion. And as a kid, that was true. I had a crazy family growing up. It was
Viral infections.
viral infections,
Bacterial
Definitely.
infections, dust.
As
all
I got
kinds of good
older,
stuff, yeah.
one of my main triggers became cold air.
Really?
Yeah,
Or going from cold to hot.
Yeah.
Or hot to cold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Going back east, if we go to Boston in the wintertime to see our grandchildren, I almost always get sick.
See, that's where a mask comes in really
Absolutely.
handy because it helps humidify the air that you're breathing in. That cold, dry air is what triggers the
Yeah.
bronchospasms.
Yeah. I try not to go anywhere in the wintertime if I can avoid it, but sometimes you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
Now, the only time I ever had asthma-like symptoms is when I was living in Vancouver, Washington, and they had huge wildfires.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was literally, everything was orange.
Oh,
Yeah.
And man, I was struggling woefully.
we had a lot of that in California. I ended up wearing a mask quite often. In fact,
Yeah.
I got a mask that was a charcoal lined, charcoal filter mask, and that helped quite a bit.
Right.
But you can still smell it.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the problem.
It
Oh, it
sneaks
was so
in.
bad. When I would go out in the morning, my car would be covered with a fine ash.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
was-
like
it
it
was-
snowed.
yeah.
You can see that in Panama City sometimes when the fields catch on fire, you'll find black ash on top of your car.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was
Dry
sur-
season.
I was surprised how often that happens in dry
Yeah.
season here.
Yeah.
I didn't think,
Things get really dry.
Yeah.
A glass bottle or whatever, or a cigarette flicked out the car,
Yeah.
or just any little spark will just set it off. It's
Yeah.
not just people, burning around their houses.
right.
Well, do you have, with lightning, any
I'm
caused
sure
by
lightning would too.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
That happens sometimes.
But so the getting back to the subject at hand,
Yes.
When we say see your doctor, your worker might not have Social Security benefits. They might not have a general physician that they go to, and they might not be able to afford a private clinic.
Right.
And, a lot of people don't know that the health center in town, Minsa, right here in Boquete,
Yes.
the one that's right beside Romero, will treat anybody that doesn't have any insurance, or even that does and just can't afford medical care, to see a general medicine physician, it might be 50 cents.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's not, that's not terrible.
And if they can't pay it, they, especially some of these workers that live day to day, maybe they don't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
It depends. They have very good current medications, excellent types of medications and variety for much less because it's subsidized by the government.
Right.
It does require a prescription from the doctor at the health clinic.
Okay.
Not from an outside doctor.
Okay.
To be able to receive that kind of
that's
medication
good to
from their
know.
pharmacy. They can also do laboratories and that kind
Okay.
of thing ordered by their physicians. So it's really cheap and it's a good option. Yes, they might be there all day waiting to get seen.
Right.
It will be a day that they don't work, probably.
Yeah.
But it is a very good option for those workers that can't afford it. And they know it exists.
Okay.
They know it exists for the most part. They can also go to the Social Security clinic and pay about the same amount to see a general medicine physician. I think
Okay.
a specialist might cost $2.
Is that the one a little farther down?
A little farther down.
Across from the bomberos?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And they can get their tetanus shots there. They can get stitched up there.
Wow,
They
okay.
can get whatever they need there. There's no real emergency room. There is acute care area, but it's not an emergency room. So, for example, they get a machete wound or something like that.
Yeah.
They can always also go there.
It's a little like, is it a little like we have urgent care in the States?
Yeah,
They're like doctor's offices.
Yeah.
And basically, they take
Yeah.
your blood pressure until you go to the doctor, go to the hospital.
I mean, there are doctors, if they can fit you in right away with a general medicine doctor, they will. To see a specialist within that system, you need to have a referral from a general medicine physician first to see the specialist. Usually you can find a appointment within a pretty short amount of time, and anything acute would be seen in their like you said, it's kind of like an emergency, like walk-in type of clinic where they can do sutures, they can do an EKG, they can
Right.
do an IV, but it's not diagnosis. It's just, treat the symptoms and then off to the hospital you go type
right,
of deal.
Right. Okay.
Are they
Okay.
open 7 days a week?
One of them will be open 7 days a week. The usual hours are between 7 and 3. There might be a little bit of a break between the one shift and the next shift before they open up again. One of them will cover all night long.
Okay.
Okay.
It's only for emergencies,
Okay.
not just for regular care.
Okay.
But one of them is always open 7 days a week. They kind of take turns.
Do you think that, like in the case of this worker or another worker or whatever, do you think they're worried more about losing a day of work than they are about getting the necessary treatment? Or is there anything else going on?
Yeah, I think in part it is missing a day of work. A lot of them, especially the indigenous, don't trust Western medicine, so they don't want to go anyway.
Okay.
The ones that are, have families to support, and that if they miss a day of work, they don't get paid. They
Right.
might not be able to put food on the table.
Okay. Okay.
That is the main thing. It's not necessarily, being able to go and pay the 50 cents or whatever to see a doctor, because I think,
Right.
if you're worried about your health, you can scrape up the 50 cents. It's missing
sure.
the day of work and
Yeah.
being able to feed their families.
Well, I think it would be a good thing. I mean, I know I don't have workers. I'm not a big ranch owner
Plantation
or
owner?
anything. Yeah, yeah. But if I did, I would say, you know what? Go. I'll pay you. Take the day off. Go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I'll pay you. And I think a lot of expats feel that way, and
Yeah.
I would like to encourage them to feel
Yeah.
that way if they
Yeah.
don't.
Right, exactly.
Because it is an important thing. And the other thing I'd just like to reemphasize that
Yeah.
you said is see a doctor. Don't self-medicate.
Yeah.
Find out, because just because you have a respiratory issue, it's not one size fits all.
Right.
you get the wrong thing and it's not working, or it'll do the wrong thing to you or whatever.
Like, for example, a lot of times heart conditions mimic lung conditions.
Really?
Yeah. So
I did not know that. What? Tell
Like
me a
what?
little bit about that.
Well, you might be having a heart attack. You might have heart failure, something like that. Kidney disease can also cause buildup of fluid in the lungs. So
Okay.
it gives a cough. It gives trouble breathing.
Okay.
Same with some heart conditions.
You're short of breath.
You're short of breath. You
Yeah.
can't walk very far. You cough.
Yeah.
Those heart conditions, kidney conditions can, cause what mimics like having an asthma attack
Okay.
or having a respiratory infection or something like that.
It's been, and I'm not in the best physical condition of my life. I'll admit that, but I'm not in terrible shape. I can walk 2, 3, 4 miles, all at once. But I've had times where I get a little bit out of breath,
Right.
and I chalk that up to not being in great physical shape. But it's very different from an asthma attack,
Yeah.
which I haven't had a real asthma attack, maybe 30 years, 40 years, I don't know. But I can tell you exactly what a real asthma attack feels like. Hold your nose and close your mouth and inhale really hard, right? That's really what an asthma attack feels like.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, it makes you panic.
Oh,
And the more you panic, the harder it is to breathe. And I can remember quite a few times when, I'm 7 or 8 years old,
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm just going to die right
Yeah.
here,
Yeah. Like when we'd go out, and I was a kid, I have asthma too.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about. And we'd go somewhere, and I'd realize I'd forgotten my inhaler at home,
Ooh.
and my mom didn't have one in her purse. And
Yeah.
you start thinking about it and thinking about what if I can't breathe, and then all of a sudden, because you're worried about it, then all of a sudden you can't breathe, and you start getting the asthma attack, and you're
Yeah.
trying to do all those relaxation things that you were taught and all that. And you're just panicking because you're just like, I know this isn't going to work, and I'm just going to need my inhaler.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
It is. Yeah.
So, one of the key things is you do have to stay very calm.
Yeah.
In the 60s, we didn't have, at least I didn't have albuterol. The only kind of rescue inhaler I had access to was Primatene Mist.
Yeah, I don't know when albuterol came out. I remember, in the 70s when I was a kid, when I was using one called Alupent, and it was horrible, horrible tasting, and it would make you very, very jittery. But I remember using those.
Yeah.
The college I worked at, we were trying to demonstrate to people what an asthma attack felt like. And so what they did was they took you and they made you run around the building,
Yeah.
come back inside, and then try to breathe through a straw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good simulation
Yeah.
too.
And what it is asthmatics get air trapping in their lungs. The bronchioles start to close off, either just swelling up or also with mucus. And it's not so much that you can't get the air in, you can't get it out first, and then you can't get it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, this last time when I got sick, one of my worst symptoms was I couldn't exhale completely and I couldn't inhale completely.
Yeah.
And if I tried to, I went on a 10-minute coughing jag.
Which doesn't help.
No.
Because that just causes more spasm.
Yeah,
and-
it does. It's a vicious cycle.
I woken or woken?
Wait, well, either
What?
one.
Yeah.
I
myself up in the night
Yeah.
after having a dream that I was underwater and needed to get a breath and I couldn't get to the surface.
Yeah.
Wake up and I'm
Ooh.
having an asthma attack.
Oh man, that is a
Wow.
terrible dream. I have
Yeah.
had that.
You've had that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to take these like.
Yeah. It's very freaky.
Yeah.
When you have that dream,
Yeah.
and this is what's actually going on in
Yeah.
life. Yeah. But for me, it's under control. But I think it is important. I thought this was an important thing to talk about because so many people are affected. And I know we have an older population here, and a lot of people I know have COPD,
Yep.
and they take different things. They don't take
Yeah.
what I would take, necessarily.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need
So
different type of treatment. They can still use the same types of treatments as we
Right.
do, but they also need other types of treatment.
Right.
Otherwise, just a rescue inhaler is not going to help them.
no, it's not. It's not. It's a
Yeah.
great thing to have,
Yeah.
but that's not the only tool you need
Right.
in your
Right.
toolkit there.
And also, I saw one person with trouble breathing. They, had been nebulizing using the mist machine to breathe in the medication. Many times a day using the rescue inhalers. They weren't getting any better. And, going to examine them, finding their O2 sats were low. And the air wasn't getting into either side of the lungs, but especially one side in particular. And I sent the person to the hospital, and it turns out they had a collapsed lung, a spontaneous collapsed lung.
Oh my goodness.
It's spontaneous?
Yep.
How does that happen?
It's spontaneous.
I guess. I mean,
It can just happen, especially if the person is prone to having pneumonias and stuff like that. You can get
Okay.
a collapsed lung, but no
Okay.
injury, no nothing. And, sent the person to the hospital, and I get a call. Guess what? So-and-so had a collapsed lung. I'm like, well, that would explain
Wow.
it.
do they use an X-ray to determine that?
Yeah,
Or how-
yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine you wouldn't hear any breath sounds on that particular side.
Yeah, but
though.
sometimes you don't hear any breath sounds with severe asthma either.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
true.
The person doesn't even wheeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, it's a lot more complicated, I think, than
Yeah.
people feel it is.
Yeah. Because I had another one. She's diabetic, overweight,
Uh-huh.
was having problems breathing. Said my sister suffers from asthma. I've been using her inhaler all day. We gave her fluids to help her because she was also dehydrated and her blood sugar was up. And listened to the lungs. Nothing was wrong with the lungs. And she just kept insisting, well, I have asthma. Well, I have asthma. And I'm like, well, I suspect a heart attack.
Yeah.
Because of your history, I think you're having a heart attack, and I think you should go down to the hospital. I don't need to go to the hospital. Just give me medicine for asthma. And I said,
No.
you need to go to the hospital. Died 2 days later in the hospital of a second heart attack.
Oh, geez,
Oh,
that's
wow.
terrible.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Did she? Do you know if she had gotten a diagnosis of asthma at some point in life, or
I
did
never
she
found
just
out. I don't think so. I think she just assumed.
Assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
She was suffering for a few days with trouble breathing. So
Yeah.
apparently, the heart attack that she'd been having since a few days before had gotten
Yeah.
worse. And so
Yeah.
the damage was already done to the heart. And that's, folks, why you don't automedicate.
Yeah, that's not good.
No self-medicating.
Yeah, exactly. And even though, I've had this my whole life and I recognize what's happening, I do not hesitate to go to the doctor as soon as I can.
Right.
Because it's not always exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And we're getting older,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm 63, I'll be 64 in December. Like I say, my mind thinks I'm in my 20s and my body thinks my mind is an idiot. But I know enough to, when I get something, I see the doctor.
That's right.
and,
Now, see, I learned the hard way last year because I'm kind of stubborn.
Okay.
You need to go?
I need to go.
You
All
need
right.
to go.
The doc
okay.
is being summoned.
Doctor,
being called.
I understand you have important lives to save. All right. Well, thank you for being here, Dr.
Thank you for
Yes,
having
thank
me. I
you.
enjoyed it, as
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
I'd be glad to come on anytime.
Great, you're one of our
Some
favorite
notice.
guests.
Well, thank you. I like being here.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Cool.
Good to see you guys.
Hey, have a
one.
great
You
weekend.
too.
You too. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's weekend. Have a
All
great
right.
weekend, guys.
Yeah.
great
All right,
weekend.
doctor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go on. You were saying.
Anyway, so last year I started having a cough, and I was with a bunch of other people who also had a cough.
Yes.
So I thought, well, I just have the same thing everybody else has. And I remember I was sitting on my couch, and I was looking at my fingers going, I wonder if that's a sign of old age that my fingers turn blue.
Ooh, no.
And because I was just being stubborn, and it turned out that I had black mold poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that wasn't good.
that could kill a person. Actually.
I found that out almost.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, almost.
I'm glad you got back from the break, Pam.
Me too.
That would not have been good. But that does raise another great point, because there are a lot of things that can cause all of these kinds of symptoms.
Exactly.
And more than likely, a rescue inhaler would not have helped you.
Not at all.
At that point.
In fact, I did have a rescue inhaler in my house.
Okay.
Because occasionally when I've had the flu or something, I've had them in my purse, maybe for like a year because I don't need them, but once in a while just kind of open things up.
Right.
And it wasn't doing anything.
Okay.
And I got to the point where I finally ended up calling a neighbor because I knew I couldn't drive
Yeah.
to get me to a doctor because
Yeah.
I just let it go too long.
Yeah.
And it happened that quick. I mean, it wasn't like I went weeks and weeks and weeks.
Right. And you know what? Sometimes you can't actually, you're in a situation or whatever, you can't actually get to a doctor in as timely of a manner as you would like
Exactly.
to. I tend to get sick on a Sunday night
Of
or a
course.
Friday night, you know, when the doctors are all home, or you got to go to the ER or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The mold is a thing to look out for. And, you know, I will say that we had an issue, and this is probably where you got it. We had an issue in the theater last year, in the tent. And we have learned from those mistakes. This year, we've added a lot of ventilation.
You have.
We've treated everything with antifungal paint treatment. But this is a good thing, and we learned this kind of the hard way. If you don't pay attention to mold, man, it will happen quickly and a lot.
Yes.
We had to go back to the States for several months when we first moved here. It was during the rainy season.
Right.
And when we got home, everything was covered in mold.
Really?
Yeah. And it was mostly green and white mold,
Right.
you know.
Well, I was told it doesn't matter what kind of mold. Mold
It
poisoning.
can all
mold
make you
poisoning.
sick.
Yeah.
Black mold is probably the worst
Right.
for like killing you people. But yeah, it's all terrible. And one of the things we learned that if we ever have to go away, crack a couple of windows, different sides of the house. You know, all the houses here, at least ours does, they all have bars on the windows. You don't really have to worry about people crawling in an unlocked window that much. And keep some air flowing. And we did that. The next time we had to go away during rainy season, a couple of months or whatever, come back, not a problem.
Right.
We did not have a big mold problem. We left our closets open, drawers open, stuff like that, as long as air is circulating. The other thing I was going to talk about was my memory issues. I'm a photographer, right? And a member of the Bouquet de Fotografia Camera Club. And we've had an issue that happens with camera equipment is mold grows on the inside of lenses.
Ooh, I bet, yeah.
Yeah, if you keep your lenses in the case, if you keep them locked away, no air gets to them, and that can ruin $1,000 lens.
Oh, I bet.
And you know, getting those fixed is almost as expensive as the lens itself. You know, it's a very costly situation. So one of the things I do is I never put anything away. And it works. I've never gotten any lens mold.
Right, keep it all aired out.
Yeah,
right.
keep it going. I got a hold of recently a couple of very expensive lenses that were not properly stored. And unless I can get them to a manufacturer or a camera shop in the States, they're basically paperweights.
Wow.
You know, they're thousands of dollars worth of paperweights.
They can't take them apart and clean that mold out?
It's very difficult. They can. In fact, I was able to take some of them apart and get some of the mold out and clean them up, but I wasn't able to get all the way. I mean, these are large, long, complicated telephoto lenses.
Okay.
And it probably wouldn't even be worthwhile to get them repaired. I'm going to hold on to them. Someday I might, you know. But things like that, electronics, leather is another terrible thing for this climate. The two things that surprised me the most were how moldy my leather belt got, you know.
Yeah.
Leather shoes, leather things, and my cast iron frying pan.
What?
It looked like it was covered in barnacles. It was so moldy. Yeah.
How did your cast iron frying pan get moldy?
I left it in the oven.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of times people will store pans in the oven.
Right.
Left it there and came back. In fact, most of the pans were moldy on the outside, but the cast iron frying pan was moldy inside and out and covered.
Wow.
A little a scrubby pad and some white vinegar takes care of it.
Yeah, white vinegar is good at getting rid of mold.
Keep a gallon of that stuff on hand.
Yeah.
It's great for everything.
Yeah.
And bleach works too. But one of the things that happened to us when we first moved into a casita that's next to our house, and it came furnished, and it had one of these bench type couches. It's basically plywood and naga hide, right?
Right.
And one day, Gabrielle and I were, Gabrielle, I love you. We were sitting upstairs, and both of us go, it smells moldy, somehow. And we're looking around, and we looked everywhere, and couldn't find anything like that, any mold. So then we decided to check the couch we were sitting on, the bench we were sitting on. Turned it over, and I kid you not, it was a quarter of an inch, maybe a 16th of an inch thick with black fuzzy mold.
Ooh.
It was just, oh my.
Oh my.
We put on masks, and we toted that thing outside, and I turned it over and hosed it down with, first I took a scraper, right?
Right.
You could just peel up the mold. It was so thick.
Weren't you worried about the spores? Though,
Well,
getting
as
in
I
the
put
air?
on a mask.
Okay.
And then I hosed it down with bleach and let it sit out in the sunshine, and it still didn't go away, so we just kind of got rid of it. But these are
Wow.
places that you wouldn't think to normally check, you know?
Now, see, I have a dehumidifier,
Okay.
and I just run that thing 24/7.
That's a
End
good
of
thing to
discussion.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
And
lot.
then I have ceiling fans. And so after her talking to you a couple times, and you're telling me about some trips you've taken and come back with all this mold.
Yeah.
So I went away for a week in 1st of August,
Yeah.
which is rainy season.
Yeah.
And I was just terrified. So I actually asked my landlord if he would come by every day and empty out my dehumidifier, which he did.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So I didn't have to worry about any of that
Good,
stuff.
good. Well, the
Unfortunate.
ceiling fans are a big help.
Yes.
I mean, those alone would probably prevent a lot of mold problems or
Yeah.
issues. Because the key, at least what we've discovered, is
Air circulation.
air circulating. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly.
So, and that's another thing we've added in the theater this year is when the whole time we're not there, there's a fan that runs, a large exhaust fan that runs 24/7.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah, and our brilliant stage constructor, Swiss Army Mike Hill.
Mike Hero?
Yes.
Mike Hero.
Yeah, he built ventilation into the stage, so the
Oh.
air goes through and under and out constantly.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
there will be no mold in this tent anymore ever again.
Although this rainy season isn't as bad as last year.
This is the driest rainy season since we've lived here, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
And you've been here how long?
It'll be 8 years in
Wow.
December. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I know we had a weather station on our property where I live.
Mm-hmm.
One of our neighbors had his up, and we all kind of fed into it.
Yeah.
And last year we had 200 inches of rainfall.
That is
Now
amazing.
we're nowhere near that this year.
Yeah.
Nowhere near that. I don't know
Oh.
where we're at, but I know
Yeah.
not
Oh.
200.
We really haven't had, I think maybe we've had one, maybe two heavy downpours, but we really haven't had them the way, normal rainy season, man, you can get 2, 3, 4 inches of rain in an hour,
Yeah.
sometimes.
And I remember about this time last year, my deck, which is white, it's tile,
Yeah.
but it was turning yellow.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not having that issue this year at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're having a lot of sun. Maybe we won't have mold this year at all.
Hey, that would be great. I think a lot of people would appreciate
I think
that.
so.
I know they need rain down towards the canal. They
They
need
do.
water down there. So
Yes, they do.
rain, head on down, head east. All right. Go to the canal area and do your thing over there. And
That is actually becoming a worldwide problem, that our canal is
That's-
only able to take X amount of ships through now because,
Yeah.
and the backup is unbelievable. I've seen pictures. It
That's what I've read.
just
Yeah.
goes and goes and goes.
I think I read normally the backup is around, 30 or 40 ships.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like over 200 ships. Yeah, that's going to affect supply chains.
Exactly.
That's food chains. That's going to affect a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's-
yeah, I hope they get that going. I did not realize, I was today years old, I think, when I learned that the canal relies on fresh water. It doesn't use seawater.
It has a lake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lake Atune. Yeah. And that lake level, that's they made that when they built the canal, but the levels are very low. So I don't understand all of the mechanics of it. Yeah, I'm not an engineering type. But yeah, I can see that it's going to be an issue not just for Panama, but for the whole world, basically.
Yeah, because that whole supply chain is just coming right through there for everybody.
Yeah. I think we're in good shape supply-wise because kind of stops here. Yeah. Well, a great thing about
And one of the things about Panama that we're very fortunate is this is really kind of a breadbasket part of the country.
Yeah, that's true.
So as far as fresh foods, they're at our disposal all the time.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
Very fortunate for that.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends who a big part of why they moved here. They're anticipating maybe an impending apocalypse, or maybe just things will get rough for a while.
Well, I
they
just
moved
like fresh
here
fruits and vegetables.
exactly
I'm not
because
worried
they
about World War III.
They know that no matter what goes on in the rest of the world, we'll have fresh
Yeah.
fruits, we'll have vegetables, and most importantly, coffee.
Of course, we have to have the coffee.
I love the fact that I live in a place where I can drink coffee that's grown, processed, roasted, and bagged, walking distance practically from my house.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't get fresher coffee than that.
No, you can't.
And
You can't. I have a friend who was here back in April, and she considers herself a coffee
snob.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Until she came here and tasted our coffee.
Oh, yeah?
And she's like, I can't drink American coffee anymore.
Yeah?
It just doesn't taste the same. It
Yeah.
doesn't taste like coffee.
So do you have to send her care packages frequently now?
Well, she
or-
hasn't run out yet from
Okay.
what she took back.
Okay.
But I'm expecting a call any minute now.
Yeah, really. Definitely, if we ever have to go back for more than a week or two, we will take a pound or more of Boquete coffee with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you have to bring the beans. You can't bring ground, right?
I know. You have to. Well, we only use beans, so
Yeah,
I
I
don't
do
know.
too.
But I've heard that. Yeah. I haven't tried. So yeah. It's all kind of a theme today, though, isn't it? It's a respiratory theme.
Respiratory theme.
You know, breathing easy. And
Yes. And that's one of the other things that we're so fortunate about is our air here is so fresh.
Oh, it's amazing.
It just tastes good.
Yeah,
It just
absolutely.
tastes good.
One of the things when I was sick a couple of weeks ago is I could go out onto my patio, onto my terraza, and just breathe in fresh, moist air. I mean, I won't say it's the same as a oxygen tent. I don't know. Do they still have those?
I don't know.
I don't know. I was in one when I was about 6.
Yeah.
I won't say it's the same as an oxygen tent, but it does feel good. It did relieve a lot of symptoms for me, for a while. And it smells good. It tastes good. The air is it's so nice.
It is.
And
One of the things that you did, though, that I was very interested in hearing about was you were using eucalyptus leaves
Yes.
to smell in the vapors
Yes.
and steaming them. Where were you getting the eucalyptus leaves from?
The park.
Really?
The new park.
Yeah.
Biblioteca Parque.
Yeah.
They have a lot of eucalyptus trees there.
Really?
Yeah. And also, if you drive up, I think, towards Jaramillo Centro, there are eucalyptus trees there. And just over the Penamonte Bridge, there's a big grove of them. They're, I think, making some of that area into a park now.
I saw a
also.
construction sign for that today, as a
Yeah,
matter of
yeah,
fact.
yeah. I had a great doctor back in the 80s. Her name was Dr. Gilman. She was Russian. And she had to go to medical school all over again when she came to the U.S.
Yeah.
But she knew the best of both modern, current, up-to-date medicine and techniques and some old school stuff, some really old school. And she was the one that said, Patrick, you have to go and get the eucalyptus leaves and boil them and put the towel over your head and breathe in the steam. And I did. And that's one of the few things that really, and you know, like anything, when you're really sick, it's not a cure-all, but it does make you feel quite a bit better for quite a while. And in my case, I would do it just before bed, and I could actually get some sleep. You know, one of the things that happens to me is with the asthma, and when I get congestion, if I lay down flat, I start to cough.
Right.
It comes back up, so I have to kind of sleep, you know, propped up, kind of a wedge angle, kind of a thing.
Actually, I had the same problem. I had to sleep,
Yeah.
you know, almost sitting up.
And the eucalyptus helped a lot with that. The thing to know, the other thing to know about that, when you do it, you should have like a moist washcloth handy. And when you're done breathing it in, breathe through the moist washcloth so it gently cools your throat down. Otherwise, you can get a throat irritation if you go from that hot, steamy air to just regular, cold, fresh air.
Right.
So, you know, that's just, it's not going to really hurt you, but it can be an irritation.
Yeah. And you're already not feeling well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just about everybody I know or that we've worked with has come down with one form.
Well, one of our guests today is not here
because he is sick. Hey, feel better, buddy, all right? You know who I'm talking to. Chris, our sponsor. Yeah. And he's got a new restaurant to open next week.
Yes, we know.
And here's an important thing, and I said this to him this morning. An important thing to remember is you have to rest. We've got this. You've got to rest, and you've got to rest longer than you think you need to.
Yes. That surprised me. There was one day, I don't think I was awake for more than 4 hours the entire day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends who were getting better. So they started getting really busy, and they had a relapse.
Ooh.
And one of my buddies had to get to the hospital in David.
Really?
Because it was really that bad. So you got to take it easy, kids. Become a bed potato or a couch potato. Just watch all the Netflix you can and just don't do anything.
But stay hydrated.
Oh, absolutely.
That's one of the things that, because one of the symptoms I got was a severe sore throat. And it was difficult even to drink tea with a little bit of lemon in it.
Yeah.
So the more I kept hydrated, though, the better my throat felt because I kept it moist. But it was just drinking plain water there for a while. Yeah. But I had to force myself to do it.
There's all kinds of those kind of remedies that really help with symptoms. You know, like gargling with salt water. And vinegar water or lemon water or whatever.
Oh, I couldn't handle the lemon at all. It just was like.
And one of my friends said, "No, you have to eat several cloves of garlic every day." I'm like, Nah, not unless it's on a pizza. No. Hey, but different things work for different people.
That's true.
And the most important thing is to, know your symptoms and your signs and see your doctor as soon as you can and just take care of yourself.
Just let it be. Let it rest and let it run its course.
I know not everybody always has the option of, staying in bed. Well, we should because, we don't have jobs.
That's right.
Except for theater.
We have nothing else in our lives going on.
Yeah, nothing. Well, after November, my situation is going to slow down tremendously.
That makes two of us.
It'll be great. Yes, it does.
Yes.
You're involved in just about every project in every way.
Just
about. But definitely you got to take it easy. And as soon as you think you're feeling better, take another day.
Yeah.
And then, jump back into the fire or whatever.
And like my Polish-Irish little brain goes, "You're fine, Pam, let's go."
Yeah.
And like you said, 24 hours later, bam, you're knocked down again. So.
And that keeps you out of action even longer, So, it's take care of your health.
Take care of everybody.
As soon as you start feeling better, get over to Big Daddy's.
Yes.
And have some margaritas.
Yes, you're feeling better.
Yes.
And that's a vitamin C. I mean, that's
there you go.
C,
there you go.
right?
That's good. Unless you're on, they say, if you're taking antibiotics, don't drink alcohol, right?
Right.
I've heard that a lot. I wish they'd quit telling me that, but
Are there virgin margaritas?
there are.
Uh-huh.
In fact, you can get virgin margaritas, so and they're delicious as well.
I bet.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're on antibiotics, virgin margaritas.
Virgin margaritas.
If you're not and you're feeling better, man, go for it.
Exactly.
Have the fun. The spicy boom boom shrimp too is no, yeah.
No.
I like it, but
I know, but with a sore throat, no.
yeah, and like last week, you couldn't even talk.
I couldn't talk at all.
Yeah. So I'm thanks for being here. I'm glad you're.
Well, I'm glad we're both together.
Yeah, we're back.
We've been, like I said, apart for a good month between you're getting sick first and then me. And thank goodness Mike Schwartz jumped in and helped us out.
Yeah, thanks Schwartzy. Also, Michael Halpern helped out a
Yes.
couple times. All right, we got 2 minutes to go. All right.
Minutes.
Well, see, here we thought, what were we going to talk about for a whole hour?
And we always find something, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We do. We do.
And it's always great talking to Dr. Shannon.
Yes, it is.
She is a fabulous doctor and
Very knowledgeable.
a great person.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that kind of amazed me when I moved here is not only can you get your doctor's cell phone number, you can be friends with him on Facebook.
And they make house calls.
And they make house calls. That's
That's amazing.
that's one of the other amazing, fabulous perks
Yeah.
of living here in Boquete,
Yes.
Chiriquí, Panama.
Yes. So we have a minute to go. Let's talk about tonight.
Okay, tonight,
Really quick.
DEV,
Yes.
divorced evangelical vegetarian. En español, divorciada evangelical y vegetariana.
Uh-huh.
And it's 3 diverse women who come together and hilariously deal with their problems in life. Come on down, everybody come and see it. It's going to be a
Yes.
lot of fun.
It's going to be hysterical.
Yeah, especially if you speak excellent español. ¿Tú hablas español? Sí?
See?
Sí.
Poco.
Yeah, yo hablo español como un idiota.
Bing.
Although, I understand. I find going into the hardware store is more challenging, so I've really got to up my hardware store game
Oh, yeah.
in Espanol. But otherwise, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
All right,
All
you
right.
guys. Thank you. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week and stay healthy.
Yes.